Okay, so today our target is to start with one activity first, which I said that it'll help us understand these types of learning a little more. Okay, so I'm taking you to this site, which is Teachable Machine. And here we will see, it's just I wrote Teachable Machine and you search it with google.com है वैसे इसका पूरा जो address है. Okay, and let's see how we understand this thing as to how to train. Like I'm saying now that I'm giving examples to my system to get trained, and then it is able to work for me the way I want. Okay, so here we talk about three aspects. One is the vision, of course, vision based only. One is the images, one is the audio, and another is the pose. Okay, I'll do one with you, you can try the rest. Image project mein what we'll do is we'll teach our model, we'll make a model where we are trying to teach the machine to identify a few objects which are around me. Like I take up a mouse maybe or a mouse pad or a mobile phone, whatever I have in front of me. I'll train my system with various angles of those angles of the images of that particular thing. Okay. And then whenever I'm trying to then later ask him to identify from the set whether he's able to identify it properly or not. Let's do that. Okay, I have to activate my webcam for that. So I'm doing it. It says there's an error. Why so? Image uploading is a problem. Some setting might be. Just a second. The camera is on. Why is it keep picking up? Because it's being used by Zoom. Is that so? Shouldn't be. Anyway, I think that is the reason because my camera is being used by Zoom, so it is not able to take it. Chalo, let's do one thing. Let's do the audio project. Okay. Now, audio mein, my mic will be used and I'll give him different classes of audio like snap, clap, shout, or cry, or laugh, something, whatever we can think of. So let's do that. Add audio sample 20 minimum, it is telling me. So let me kind of add one sample, allow, and then I'm going to click. One sample. I've given him my background, nothing else. Okay. So background noise. A little more, maybe I'm going to move my chair. Make some sound like this. An extract sample will give different samples to it. Okay. Let me add a second one, which is clapping. So I can change the text here. And I switch on my audio again, mic again. Another one. Another one. Okay. I've done the clapping one. Let's do for snapping also. One more. Okay. Another one. Another one. Let's keep it this much and let's try. Now I've given him 3 inputs. And now I ask him to train. That teach my machine these sounds. Okay, it requires about 20 seconds of background noise and it has got only, let's do one more. I've given that to him. Wait, minimum done. Here also I think I have to take one more, 2 more. Okay. So I've given him 8 samples. Now let me train. So it's preparing to train the data, train the model and preparing the training data. Picking up all the samples I've given it to him. And now I have to export. This is my link. So you can take up the link and then, send it to your friend or something, or check it up yourself at how it works. It's actually given the code also in here. Okay. And then I say upload my model also to their site. Until it does it, then we'll test. Not take so much time. Now here, let me tell you what we are actually trying to do here. I've given him certain labeled sets, as we call it. कि भाई specifically जब कोई sound नहीं है या ये मेरा background sound है. ठीक है, that's a labeled set for you. Clap, these are my claps. Snap, these are my snaps. So like for the video one, if I talk about, I'm giving him samples of cats and dogs and horses. And I've labeled कि भाई ऐसा दिखता है तो horse है, ये भी दिखता है तो horse है, ऐसा भी दिखता है तो horse है. Different labels. This is called as labeled data set. I'm telling him that these looks are of a horse, these are of cat, these are of dog. So this is called as providing the machine with a labeled data set. Okay. And when I do so, that's called the supervised learning. Right? Now let us try that thing. I exported. Let me see, show it to you whether it works independently or not. Okay, see it's come with that link. Okay. Now can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Look here. No sound, so it's picking up background noise. अब कुछ मैं बोल रही हूँ, it's trying to pick up a few other things also, but otherwise background noise. Okay. Now let me try the clapping and snapping. Okay. Can you see? So it has learned, the machine has learned कि ऐसा sound है तो clap है, ऐसा sound है तो snap है, ऐसा sound है तो background है. Pre-labeled data set I've given him. This is called as supervised learning. When I'm telling him that this is what it is. Okay, when you do it at home, try with the that visual one. Visual में ऐसे घुमा घुमा के, you give various photos of maybe the mobile or notebook or anything, box or apple, I mean fruits का you want to make. And then try it out. कि बाद में जब मैं उसको कुछ थोड़ा अलग सा fruit I'm giving, what is it able to identify? Or if I'm giving him the same fruit from a different angle, is it able to identify it? Like if for the hand, if supposedly I'm telling him this is my hand, okay, this is my palm or whatever, I'm giving him pictures like this. I'm giving him all pictures. So if I give him this, does it identify? Okay, if I give him this, does it identify? If I give him like this, does it identify that this is my hand or not? So try out that particular. But that is the meaning of my supervised learning. That was my first topic of thought today. And let's get back to the text. So here I am back to the machine learning where we have seen yesterday that machine learns by itself, understands the patterns and then devises the algorithm himself. है ना? I said that Celsius to Fahrenheit वाला जो example हमने yesterday लिया था, that I've given him a set of 10 Celsius values and correspondingly 10 Fahrenheit values. Obviously, they should correspond. If 2 is the Celsius and 4 is the Fahrenheit value for 2, then that is how you have to give it. Now he will design the pattern himself कि अच्छा 2 Celsius है और उसका corresponding 4 is Fahrenheit. 10 Celsius है उसका corresponding 40 is Fahrenheit. So he will devise his own algorithm, he will devise his own formula so that next time you give him 150 as Celsius, he will give you the corresponding Fahrenheit. If he is able to give it correctly, that means the training is proper. It has been trained well. नहीं तो उसको दोबारा ट्रेन करो. ठीक है? But that is the meaning of machine learning. Right? Now we come down to this learning. What are the kinds of learning which my machine will do? One is the supervised learning. Second is the unsupervised learning. And the third one is the reinforcement learning. Okay. The example what I showed you to you was of the supervised learning because here I'm giving him labeled data set. Can you see here the text written? Labeled data set. मैंने उसको बता दिया. All these pictures are of cat. All these pictures are of dog. All these pictures are of phone. Now, when I give him a picture, he has to identify whether it's a phone or a dog or a cat. Okay, so direct feedback. I'm telling him, भैया ये है, तुम्हें इसी के according ढूंढना है, इसी के according समझना है. That is supervised learning. So let's see what text has given us. It says that as the name specifies, supervised learning occurs in the presence of a supervisor or as a teacher. We train the machine with labeled data. Some data, sorry, where was I? Some data is already tagged with the correct answer. So you've told him, yeah, this is the phone. This is the thing. The correct data ke saath I've given him the correct answer ke saath. It is then compared to the learning which takes place in the presence of the supervisor or a teacher. It is that ki usko, obviously somebody is training, so there's a teacher there. That's why it is calling it like that. A supervised learning algorithm learns from the labeled training data and then becomes ready to predict the outcomes of the unforeseen data. So, isko, why is it comparing it with the supervisor or teacher? Like a teacher in class tells you, but this is a political map of India, this is the physical map of India. ये दिल्ली है, ये ऐसा है, ये ओशन है, ये वाला ओशन है, तो he is already telling you. And then in the map, when they give you कि ये क्या है, you are able to map it up. है ना? So that is the basic and very typical example of my supervised learning. So majority times what I am doing is supervised learning. I am being told कि ये ऐसी चीज है. So next time you are shown that thing, you are able to identify कि okay, this is it. Like हम छोटे बच्चे को भी दिखाते हुए बोलते हैं ना बचपन से, this is an apple, this is a ball, this is a bat. So he learns. The next time he will be able to identify and say, oh, give me that ball. He will not call ball the bat. Right? So that kind of examples are given to you. I'm telling him or the model that these are my apples. So जब हम नया data उसको देंगे, he will be responding by saying this is an apple. So that is the supervised learning. Not only that, when I give him now a bunch of fruits to him, because I have given him the identification that these are going to be apples. ऐसा दिखता है तो apple है, ऐसा दिखता है तो peach है, ऐसा दिखता है तो banana है. So he will be able to identify. That is the meaning of supervised learning. So the keyword for supervised learning जो आपको याद रखना है and in the answers you have to mention is labeled data set. That word should not be missing. Rest explanation you give with any example, that is your wish. Next comes my unsupervised machine learning. Okay. Now, unsupervised machine learning may we say that we do not give him any particular labeled set. I'm giving him pictures. I'm giving him apples, mangoes, pears, bananas. I'm giving pictures. Okay. He will be able to identify that, okay, all these are looking similar. So this is one category. All these are looking similar. This is second category. All these are looking similar. This is third category. Like अगर मैंने उनको to the machine, supposingly I'm giving him volcanic eruption के बहुत सारे pictures, earthquake has happened, and the destruction has happened, pictures of that, landslide हुआ, like what happened in Wayanad or keeps on happening in Uttarakhand. So उसके destruction के pictures दिए, ऐसे ऐसे करके मैंने उसको बहुत सारे pictures दिए. Now it is the machine's responsibility कि उस सारे unlabeled data set को categorize करना. ये लैंडस्लाइड है, ये आपका, आई मीन दीज आर सेपरेट. ऑब्वियसली लेबल तो आप करोगे, लेकिन इट इज एबल टू फाइंड द पैटर्न फ्रॉम द पिक्चर्स एंड ग्रुप. दैट इज द मेन थिंग. सॉरी. ओके, सो व्हेन लाइक दिस इट लर्न्स, वो पहले ही विल मेक मिस्टेक्स, मे बी सम जगह ग्रुपिंग में यू नो एक फ्लड सिचुएशन और एक लैंडस्लाइड सिचुएशन में जो डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ है, दे विल लुक ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर. सो he might not be able to categorize those two things differently. He may put all the landslides destruction pictures and flood destruction pictures also together, and I wanted them separate, right? So that may happen, but then that's how it works, right? So the task of the machine is to assemble unsorted information according to resemblances, patterns and variances without any formal training. उसको उससे पहले कुछ नहीं दिया हुआ था, मैंने कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं बताया हुआ था. आई एम नॉट टोल्ड हिम कि ये ऐसा होता है, फ्लड का डिस्ट्रक्शन ऐसा दिखता है, या ये ऐसा है या वैसा है, कुछ भी नहीं. आई एम नॉट टोल्ड हिम एनीथिंग. आई हैव जस्ट गिवन हिम पिक्चर्स. सीइंग द पिक्चर्स, from the features he is able to group the data separately. Okay, so he actually does the labeling, right? So now again I've given you certain examples here. If somebody gives you a basket full of different fruits and asks you to separate them, you will probably do it on the basis of their color, shape, and size. If a child is given this task, like we identify the fruits, or if a toddler is given this task, basket full of things, different things, इसमें fruits भी हैं, cars are also there, balls are also there and everything. And then that child is asked to kind of separate color, right? So we'll have to see whether he's able to do it accordingly or not. But a mature person will be able to differentiate. Put all things of similar category separately. So unsupervised learning works in the same manner. You provide the system with the data that contains photos of different kinds of fruits and ask to segregate it. Remember, in case of unsupervised learning, you don't provide him with labeled data. Okay, so unlabeled data sets is the input. The system will look for patterns in the data, patterns like shape, color, size, anything, and accordingly find out. Like another example, I'm talking about the pictures of animals. Okay, dogs, cats, lion, tiger, अलग बहुत सारे pictures दिए from different angles, and now they kind of differentiate. Okay, that is also an example of unsupervised learning. Okay, third category. Now here they have given you an activity also. Let's suppose we have never seen a cricket match before, and by chance watch a video on the internet. Can you classify the players on the basis of their different criteria? And supposingly you're watching something which you've never seen before, and now you want to create some kind of a imaginary understanding about the whole thing. Right. So by watching the match, you can understand that okay, there are two set of players playing because दोनों के कपड़े अलग हैं. One is trying to hit this goal post and the other is trying to hit that goal post. If I talk about football, suddenly मुझे football strike किया. So I'm just giving an example, है ना? So this kind of things you are able to find out. Similarly, my machine also would be able to find it out, and that finding of his thing will be a kind of learning which will be unsupervised. The third category of learning which machine has to do is a reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning का मतलब है reward based. Like in school, you give an exam. As a result of that, you are being awarded with a certificate. You've done well, or you've not done well, so you are kind of given some kind of trainings again later, remedial classes जिसको हम बोलते हैं, and then again you are asked to attempt remedial classes, asked to attempt redo. So reinforcement मतलब action, corrective action is being taken bar, and you are learning by that method. Okay. So this is that area of machine learning concerned with how software agents ought to take actions in an environment in order to maximize some notion of cumulative reward. Reinforcement learning is one of the three basic machine learning paradigms alongside the other two. In reinforcement learning, the machine is not given examples of correct input-output pairs, but a method is provided to the machine to measure its performance in the form of a reward. The sentence sounds confusing. What does it say actually? इसमें इसको कुछ भी इनपुट या आउटपुट का ऐसा कुछ स्पेसिफिकेशन दिया ही नहीं है, जैसे हमने सुपरवाइजर और अनसुपरवाइज को दिया. इसमें यू नो व्हाट आर वी ट्राइंग टू डू हियर, लाइक वी आर प्लेइंग अ गेम जहाँ पे द मूव यू टेक, and if it is a correct move, you are given +5, and if it is a wrong move, you are given -5. So the more of pluses you are getting, you know that you're making the correct move. That's how you're learning. That's a reward for you. And उस reward के basis पे you are learning whether you are doing it correctly or doing it wrong. ठीक है? So this is a kind of reinforcing. You are reinforcing. तो तुमने सही किया, so okay, bravo, go ahead. A thumbs up, go ahead. A thumbs up, go ahead. A thumbs down. नहीं गलत है. So you go back. Again do it. Again redo it. अच्छा ये भी गलत है. No, wrong. Again do it. Right? So that is the kind of learning we are trying to give to the system here. That's called the reinforcement learning. Okay? They have given an example of a game here, the kind of thing I was saying. उसको diamond तक पहुंचना है, and if he is kind of crossing the fire, there's a -5. If he's moving without crossing any fire, it's a +5 for him. So that is how he is going to earn and learn कि अच्छा इधर -5 हो गया तो मुझे इधर नहीं जाना था. Or like a beep sound comes, you know, कि oh इधर नहीं जाना, so go to the next side. That is how the machine will learn. Okay, that's what the three categories of learning comes under my machine learning. So if I get back to my diagram, which I showed you yesterday, which had AI as the umbrella term, within that I said some portion is machine learning, and within that I said some portion is deep learning. Everything comes under AI only, because it is a learning which is happening uh, not naturally as given by God. It's artificial. ठीक है, तो सब कुछ is machine learning, your artificial intelligence. Some portion we have learned about machine learning, कि machine learning क्या होता है, types, किस किस तरीके से machine learn करता है. हम करा सकते हैं मशीन को लर्न, हमें मशीन को लर्न कराना है. तो एक ये कि we give him the defined कि भैया this is cat, this is dog, this is horse and you learn. तुम याद कर लो. ठीक है. Second, you give him set of information. Bunches, 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 bunches. Machine automatically segregates and learns accordingly. And third is step by step, you give him a reward and machine understands कि अच्छा, it's a reward for me, plus हो गया मेरे को. So I'm learning it correct. Minus हुआ, I'm learning it wrong. So these are the different ways by which my machine can learn. The third category here which comes is my deep learning, which is connected to my neural networks also. Again, a very important concept because we are actually going towards this. ये सारी लर्निंग बेस्ड एक्टिविटीज, लर्निंग बेस्ड फंक्शनैलिटीज एआई जो हमें दे रहा है, जो हमने मशीन लर्निंग में सीखा, दे आर इजी टू इम्प्लीमेंट एंड वी हैव ऑलमोस्ट अचीव दैट पार्ट. डीप लर्निंग में जहाँ पे हम आ जाते हैं, वहां पे इट इज मोर ऑफ माई ब्रेन वर्क. ह्यूमन ब्रेन्स को बहुत ज्यादा हद तक वी आर ट्राइंग टू इमिटेट हियर, राइट. So here we say it is inspired from the human brain and the neurons in the human brain. If you have seen this image in your school science books somewhere, that you've got multiple wires, no, in your brain. And every wire is linked to some of your body part, any of your body parts. और वहाँ पे क्या trigger हो रहा है. और उस triggering से वो आपका hand is moving up, moving down, you're thinking, you are accordingly taking action, पैर चल रहे हैं. Any न्यूरॉन में कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, एनी वायर कनेक्शन, लूज कनेक्शन, एनी रॉन्ग कनेक्शन इन द ब्रेन, एंड दैट बॉडी पार्ट डजंट वर्क. इट्स दैट डेंजरस एंड इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट. सो दैट न्यूरॉन्स का जो कैपेसिटी है, न्यूरॉन्स की जो वर्किंग है, दैट नाउ वी आर ट्राइंग टू इनकॉर्पोरेट इनटू मशीन्स. वेरी डेंजरस थिंग. ओके, सो द आंसर इज दैट any kind of thing that small child learns to distinguish between a school bus and a regular transit bus. How do we unconsciously perform complex pattern recognition tasks? How do we easily differentiate between our pet dog and a street dog? These we do naturally. ठीक है, explicitly किसी ने हमें सिखाया नहीं होगा ये सब चीजें. But the answer is, of course, the biological neural network that connects the neurons to our nervous system. Our brain is a very complex network comprising of about 10 billion neurons, each connected to 10,000 other neurons. So imagine the network. Imagine the network. Okay. So artificial neural network we are trying to create. Ours natural one is neural network, of course. ANN, that's the short form. Artificial neural network is something which we are trying to create now. So the idea of ANN and deep learning is based on the belief that human brain works by making the right connections, and this pattern can be imitated using silicons and wires in place of living neurons. My God, humans can really think to an extent that sounds impossible, but they are doing it. Okay, that's the meaning of my artificial neural. अब वो कुछ ऐसा दिखता है diagrammatically. Multiple inputs coming in, and there are hidden layers, multiple hidden layers. And these inputs are going to various elements there, to my neurons there. और वो अपना अपना काम करके, अपना मैसेजिंग करके, अपना कैलकुलेशन करके फॉरवर्ड कर रहा है. Further on, he is doing something on it. Further on, the third layer is doing, fourth layer is doing, fifth layer is doing. ऐसे करते करते you are getting finally the output. At the output time, you are interacting with the user. Here, all these hidden layers are working on its own. हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे उसके अंदर. There is no environmental thing happening. Okay. So there are 3 layers here. There's an input node. There are hidden layers, which is multiple. And then there's an output layer. That's a common structure of a ANM. Input, hidden, output. These are the 3 nodes. This is the layer where information or initial data from the real words get introduced. तो आपने उसको सारा वैसा input दे दिया. In the hidden area, जो हम hidden layer बोल रहे हैं, there is no connection with the real world at this stage. वो अपनी processing कर रहा है. It carries on computation and processing on its own. अपने आप. There can be more than one hidden layer. This can be asked in objectives also. Assertion reason. Okay. So more than one hidden layer. और वो अपना कंप्यूटेशन वन कर रहा है जो भी कर रहा है उसका एग्जाम्पल एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल उसको दे दीजिए एंड देन वी आर कमिंग डाउन टू द आउटपुट फाइनली इट इज गिविंग आउटपुट टू द रियल वर्ल्ड now my the Zoom might stop within another minute or so. So I'm myself stopping it and restarting so that we have a proper recording of from the start of this example. When you understand this example, you'll be able to interpret it in terms of how deep learning works. Okay, so I'm just stopping the meeting and then I'll again restart.
Okay, ma'am.